I just tanked a full awakened dough combo in the third CZ, the whole thing, and walked away with 40% HP still left. No healing. No cheese. Just a stat build almost nobody in Blox Fruits is using. What if I told you there's a Blox Fruits stat build that makes you nearly unkillable in the third C, and almost nobody is running it? Not the dough one-shot build. Not the Dragon Talon burst combo. Something completely different. I tested this for hours across PvP servers, boss raids, and grinding sessions. And the results genuinely shocked me. This is the Blox Fruits defense build combined with a melee build that the top players don't want you to discover because once you know it, they can't kill you. In this video I'm breaking down 5 key components of this build: the fruit, the fighting style, the race, the stat allocation, and the hockey setup. Every single piece matters. Skip one and the build falls apart. But when you stack all 5 together, you become a walking tank that still hits hard enough to win fights. I'm talking about a true Blox Fruits melee build and defense build hybrid that works at max level in the third C. Let's get into it. Alright, point 1, and this is the foundation of the whole build. Buddha Fruit. Specifically Buddha V2, which you unlock after completing the Colosseum quest in the second C and eating the second C beast core drop. Here's why Buddha is broken for this build. When you activate the Buddha transformation, that's your Z move, the big glowing giant form, your hitbox massively expands but your incoming damage gets reduced. We're talking a passive damage reduction that stacks directly with your defense stat points. Most players run Buddha as a pure grinding fruit and dump 0 points into defense. That is the biggest mistake in Blox Fruits right now. Because here's what nobody tells you: when you pair full defense investment with Buddha's transformation, the damage reduction doesn't just add, it multiplies. I took a max level rip_Indra Celestial slash to the face with this setup and lost maybe 30% HP. Without the defense stack? That move nearly one-shots players. Buddha also gives you a ranged grab with your C move that lets you pull enemies into melee range, which feeds perfectly into the rest of this build. Buddha currently sits in S tier for grinding and A tier for PvP, but with this defense build, it climbs. Trust me on this. And wait until you hear what fighting style we're pairing it with, because that's where this build gets genuinely ridiculous. Point 2, Superhuman. And yes, I know what you're thinking. Superhuman? In 2026? Hear me out. Superhuman is a fighting style you unlock from the martial arts master NPC in the second C for 3 million belly. It requires 50 mastery in each of the 4 basic fighting styles: Dark Step, Electric, Dragon Breath, and Water Kung Fu. The reason Superhuman is perfect for this Blox Fruits melee build is the sheer combo potential combined with its stun frames. The Z move, Beastyle Pounce, launches you forward with armor, meaning it goes through instinct dodges. The X move, Thunderclap, has a wide AoE stun that locks enemies in place. And the C move, Conqueror Gun, delivers a concentrated blast that crumples most players. But here's the thing: with maxed melee stats feeding into Superhuman Space Multiplier, each hit scales way harder than players expect. 300 hours of PvP testing taught me that most Superhuman users don't have enough melee points to unlock the full damage ceiling. With this build's allocation, which I'll cover in point 4, you're hitting the sweet spot where Superhuman becomes genuinely scary. And it costs nothing extra. No fruit slot used. No extra mastery grind beyond what you already did. Pure efficiency. Section 3 is where this build starts doing something nobody in the Blox Fruits community talks about. Stay with me. Point 3, Shark Race. Specifically V4. And this is the secret ingredient that most players completely ignore when building a defense tank. Shark Race V4 is unlocked after completing the Tidekeeper challenge in the third C. You need the Shark Tooth Necklace and a full moon cycle timer. It's a grind to get, no doubt. But what it gives you is absurd. At V4, Shark Race passively boosts your maximum HP by a flat percentage, and that percentage applies after your defense stat calculation. So your defense stat reduces incoming damage first, and then your inflated Shark Race HP pool absorbs what's left. It's a double layer of survivability that no other race replicates. Shark Race V4 also has a passive water healing bonus. You regenerate HP faster near any water surface, which matters a lot in 3rd sea areas like Floating Turtle and Sea of Treats where water is everywhere. And in the V4 Awakened form, you get a short burst of near total damage immunity that recharges on a timer. Stack that on top of the Buddha transformation and your defense points? I've literally stood inside a haunted castle boss room and let 4 different player abilities hit me at the same time to test it. I barely moved on the health bar. And point 4 is where I tell you exactly how many stat points make all of this work, because the ratio is everything. Point 4, the actual stat point breakdown. And this is where most guide videos get it completely wrong. At max level in Blox Fruits, that's level 2450, you have a set number of stat points to distribute across melee, defense, fruit, sword, and gun. For this build, you are putting 0 into fruit, 0 into sword, 0 into gun. All points go into 3 categories only: melee, defense, and health. Here's the ratio. Roughly 60% of your points go into melee. That's your damage engine. Superhuman scaling demands it and you'll feel the difference immediately. Then 30% goes into defense. Not health, defense. Defense reduces incoming damage before it ever touches your HP bar. Health just gives you more bar to drain. Defense is almost always better stat for stat. The remaining 10% goes into health to hit a minimum HP threshold where one-shots become mathematically impossible against most non-awakened moves. At max level this shakes out to approximately 1400 melee points, 700 defense points, and 350 health points. I tested every variation of this split across 2 weeks. This ratio specifically is where the build peaks. Most players either go all melee with no defense, glass cannon, or they spread everything evenly and end up mediocre at everything. This build is the answer. And point 5 ties it all together with the hockey setup that activates the build's full potential, and it's simpler than you think. Point 5, hockey. Specifically how you use Buso Hockey and Ken Hockey together to complete this build. And this is where the Blox Fruits defense build clicks into its final form. Buso Hockey, also called Armament Hockey, coats your body in black hardening and lets you damage Logia users who are normally immune to physical attacks. But its real value in this build is the passive defense bonus it applies when you keep it active. Full Buso Hockey with max defense stat and Buddha transformation active simultaneously creates a stacking defense layer that I genuinely could not find a ceiling for in testing. Dragon Talon users, Leopard Z move, Do Awaken X, all of it hits softer than it should. Then Ken Hockey Observation Hockey gives you instinct, which auto-dodges incoming projectiles. At max Ken Hockey level, your instinct has enough charges and range that you're dodging moves you shouldn't be able to dodge. Here's what nobody tells you about this specific combination: Buso Active plus Ken Active plus Buddha Transformation plus Shark V4 Passive plus max defense stats means you are running 5 separate damage mitigation layers simultaneously. 5. No other Blox Fruits stat build stacks that many layers at once. I tested this against the Cake Queen boss at Whole Cake Island and against the Soul Reaper at Haunted Castle. Both of them couldn't kill me before the fight timer reset. That's the build working exactly as designed. Run this. You won't regret it. So there it is. Buddha V2 for the damage reduction base. Superhuman for the melee damage engine. Shark Race V4 for the HP multiplier. The 60-30-10 stat split for the perfect damage and defense ratio. And Buso plus Ken Hockey stacked on top for 5 layers of survivability. This is the most slept on Blox Fruits stat build in the game right now, and you just learned the whole thing. Drop a comment telling me what build you're running right now and I'll tell you exactly how to switch over. If this video helped you, smash that like button, it genuinely helps the channel more than you know. Subscribe to Roblox today for daily Blox Fruits videos. New video dropping tomorrow. Don't miss it.